This is good news for not only gamers, but pretty much everybody else. Because this is basically getting rid of a monopoly that Apple had over a bunch of apps. Where if you wanted to, if you made a game or an app or whatever, and you wanted to have someone go outside of it and buy a product from you, Apple would redirect you to the App Store to try and get a 27% cut of it, like no matter what happened. Like even outside of their App Store. So apps weren't allowed to redirect you or anything because it would just bring you back to Apple. And Apple's basically saying, hey, give me that cut. I want that cut. This is close to 1/3 of pretty much all the money that's made. So yeah, Apple's been taking their greedy hands, scrubbing your money, and then screwing you over. For a couple years now has been Apple versus Epic. Long story short, it happened over Fortnite, in-app purchases and all that. Apple then got rid of Fortnite from the App Store, if I remember. Fortnite then was taken off the App Store, iPhones and all that. But long story short about this, it was that Epic Games basically linking people a way out the Apple Store in order to have people pay for their skins and stuff they want, and then come back to the application, making sure that that 27% Apple tax never really happens during any of it, which in terms did break the rules for the App Store, and because of that, they got in trouble for it. Basically, Apple's been doing that because they want their 27% cut. They don't really care about anything else, they just want that cut of the money. But basically, if you have an iOS device, Apple has an entire monopoly over pretty much all purchases done on it, making it sure that it always goes through Apple and Apple always gets paid. At least the most legal they could got, at least to the extent they could get away with it as much as possible. Then after that, there were a few other things. Apple was forced to allow other app stores on their phones in order to add more competition and all that. You know, adding to the pool, making them fight more for the same people, basically, which does increase competition, helps out a lot of things, and make it so that products over time do get better and better due to competing with each other, which is a benefit to pretty much everybody. Yeah. And then Apple was forced to put Fortnite back into the where the court ruled against the app store's practices. A few apps to get away with it, like I think Hulu did it. They basically told people that if you go out of the Apple Store to our official website, you can pay for this subscription and it'll be cheaper because Apple's taking a cut of our money. So there were a few applications like that were telling people what was happening. You were basically being overcharged for the same product just because you had an iPhone. You were already overcharged for a phone, but now these people wanted to overcharge you for everything else as well. And I agree far more with Epic over Apple in this. I definitely think them winning is a huge win for not only consumers, but basically people who create apps as well in the iOS store. Like all of them are gonna have huge wins from this. Everybody is gaining something out of this. So from the US District Court, so the first thing they found was Apple was in willful violation of the 2021 injunction, meaning they knew everything about it and they still happily broke the rules. Basically, they were lying under oath, and that is a serious offense most of the time, unless your name is Bill Clinton. But basically, Apple's continued attempts to interfere with competition will not be tolerated. Oh, I love that statement. That statement is like music to my ears, man. And there are no do-overs once a party willfully disregards a court order. Another small win. And that Tim Cook cannot make any claims that he did not know what was going on. That's right. So Tim Cook is under a little bit of trouble. Meaning Tim Cook knew what was going on and was compliant in what was going on. This is a little way that some people use to misdirect you by saying, oh, I didn't know what was going on behind my back. Like, bro, come on, you're the CEO of Apple right now. You should literally know every little thing that's going on. Every little thing. In a court case as big as that, there's no way you don't know what's going on. He can't just scapegoat saying, oh, I never knew what was happening. Yeah. And they also said Cook chose poorly. Oh, that's a huge win for us, man. Everywhere. And They also talk about new ways to try to thwart the injunction's goals on with a 27% commission on basically all outside sales.